Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. My name is Andy Ogg, and on behalf of TravelProfessionalNews.com, I want to personally welcome all of you for today's webinar, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join us. With us today is Shannon McGee Whitebread, Director of Sales for Paul Gauguin Cruises. Shannon has worked in the travel industry for over 25 years. She started a career as a retail travel agent and as a travel consultant with Liberty Travel, where she worked for 16 years in various offices and positions, including team leader. She made the move to the supplier side with Insight Vacations and Luxury Gold as business development manager for the Mid-Atlantic territory before becoming director of sales for the US. Most recently, Shannon worked in business development for Travel Edge. She has been fortunate enough to have traveled to French Polynesia, where she had fell in love with the destination, and Paul Gauguin Cruises. Shannon is looking forward to sharing her passion and enthusiasm for the brand and the destination, supporting her industry partners and building new partnerships with all of y'all. Today's webinar topic is Paul Gauguin Cruises Masterclass in Sailing French Polynesia. One very lucky attendee will win a Tahitian pearl pendant courtesy of Paul Gauguin, and that will be given away at the end of our presentation today. Please remember that you are all muted, but we welcome your questions in the question area on the right-hand side of your screen. I will do my best to answer anything I can, but we might have to save a few of those for Shannon since she's the expert today. Thank you for being here, Shannon. Let's turn it on over to you. I'm excited to hear what you have to say, and I appreciate your time today.
Thanks, Andy, and welcome everyone, or Maeva, which means welcome in French Polynesian language. I guess we'll start off with a class in French Polynesia language. So there are 13 letters in the French Polynesian alphabet, and most of them are vowels. And another hint for you is in the French Polynesian language, you say every vowel. So if you're saying something like Moorea, it's actually Moorea, or Taha, which is another one of the islands in the Society Islands, is Taha. So if your clients are going, make sure they sound like they know what they're talking about and they can speak French Polynesian language. So let's get started. So today we're going to do something a little fun here. I think some people might remember Jeff Foxworthy. I think it was probably like 80s, 90s that he was popular. Maybe it's later than that. The time runs together for me. But he was a comedian, and his big thing was, you might be a redneck if. So one of the things that he says is, if you own a home with wheels on it and several cars without, you just might be a redneck. But we're going to change it up. So instead of talking about rednecks, we're going to talk about rookies. So we're going to talk a little bit about you might be a rookie if you do these things. And I'm not saying it's bad to be a rookie. Everyone that starts out in the travel industry and they're new, but you don't have to sound like a rookie, right? And you might not be a rookie to the travel industry, but you might be a rookie to the destination of French Polynesia, or you might be a rookie to Paul Gauguin Cruises. Either way, I'm going to give you resources, I'm going to give you ideas, and you're going to sound like an expert after this webinar. So here's one that we're going to look at today. So if you, in fact, call this a boat and not a ship, you might be a rookie. So this is definitely a ship, not a boat. If you spell Gauguin with one U, you might be a rookie. Also, if you don't know how to pronounce Gauguin, I get so many things where people are always asking me, tell me how to pronounce it. How do you pronounce Gauguin? Or Gauguin. It's Gauguin, and he, of course, is our namesake. Paul Gauguin was a French post-impressionist painter. Spent a lot of time in French Polynesia painting the landscapes and the people. In fact, he is actually buried in the Marquesas Islands. He did live there for a time as well. So that's where we get our name from, is from the French post-impressionist Paul Gauguin. So we are celebrating our 25th anniversary in French Polynesia. And if you don't know, we are a one ship, one destination cruise line. We are the most highly rated and longest continuously sailing luxury cruise line in the area. So we've been there for 25 years. We haven't left. So the ship was built to be there, and we stayed there. We didn't go anywhere else. So what is the secret to our success? It's actually the fact that the ship, again, was built to be there. A couple things about that. We have a very shallow draft. So from the water line of the Gauguin to the bottom of the ship is just 19 feet. This is the perfect size for cruising around these shallow lagoons. It enables us to get into these inner lagoons close to the islands to get you to the destinations that you want to see when you're in French Polynesia. And these beautiful views. I mean, what is better, or people are looking for, overwater bungalows? But can you imagine? This is an overwater bungalow that sails through these beautiful areas, and your view changes daily. So that's one of the secrets to our success. Another one of the secrets to our success is we definitely are a luxury experience, but we're not formal or fussy. So we have a wonderful, casual, island-like, laid-back vibe on board the ship. Also, we are a luxury, all-inclusive experience. What that means to your guest is everything is included, from room service to all of the meals, including the meals in the restaurants that would be considered alternate dining restaurants, all beverages, including beer, wines, sodas, spirits, anything that guests want to drink when they're on board the ship. Oh, and by the way, real champagne too, not sparkling wine, actual French champagne. We are a French company after all. Mini bar in the stateroom that is replenished daily, and it's catered to your client's needs. If they're drinking all the Hinano beer, which is the beer of French Polynesia, out of the minibar and not touching the soft drinks, the next day they'll have more Hinano beer, less Coca-Cola. Also, amenities in the staterooms like flowers and a fruit bowl. We have beautiful private retreats. We have 2 private island destinations that we take guests to, Motu Mahana, which is off of Taha, and then we have a private beach in Bora Bora. We have gratuities included on board, so there's no additional gratuities charges while you're sailing with us. Then we have Wi-Fi, which is actually Starlink now, Wi-Fi throughout the ship, and any suite categories. Category B and above include butler service. We have 4 suite categories on board. Also, all the staterooms on the Gauguin are ocean view or balcony. So no interior staterooms on the ship. Everything is, ocean facing. We do have about 70% of those staterooms are balcony. So a ton of options. When you're in French Polynesia, where do you want to be? You want to be outside. So definitely recommend clients do those balcony accommodation. We love romance. So we love special occasions. So on board, there is a complimentary Tahitian blessing ceremony. You can see here, this couple is wrapped in a Tahitian blanket out on the deck near one of our entertainment venues, La Palette. And, we perform this beautiful Tahitian ceremony, and we take pictures for the guest. We also have complimentary champagne and chocolates in the room for honeymooners and anyone celebrating an anniversary. There are some packages that you can actually add on. If you want to make something extra special, we do have a vow renewal ceremony that's performed by the captain or the cruise director. And you can see this photo, the third photo in here is a picture of the marina dinner. Now, the marina dinner is extremely special. And if you are going to offer this to your client, you want to make sure that it's available with reservations before you do so. It only happens once per cruise. It usually is in Moorea or in Bora Bora. So the marina that folds off the back of the ship is the daytime is used for water sports. But once during the cruise, they actually set up dinner out there. And you can see how amazing this looks. You have the candlelight with just 2 couples. So if 2 couples are traveling together, they can have the marina dinner together. If it's just 1 couple, of course, they would have it privately, but we would never pair couples together. So ask about the marina dinner, and you'll sound like an expert to your clients if you offer this, if they're celebrating a special occasion. So romance, we love. If you think Tahiti is just for couples, you just might be a rookie. We actually have a family program on board. Another note for you is children between the ages of 1. We do allow children from 1 on up. on the Gauguin, but children from 1 to 17 in a stateroom with 2 paying adults are free. So they don't pay anything. We do have triple cabins. We don't have quad accommodations. So if it's a family of 3, you know, the child is free. But we have this wonderful program. It's called the Moana Explorer program. It's our children's program. It's all based on education and environmental initiatives. So it's actually run by Te Mana o Te Moana, which means spirit of the sea. It's a conservation foundation, which is located in Moorea. Their big initiative is to rescue turtles. So when we are in Moorea, we actually take the children over to the turtle rescue and learn all about the turtles. But there are other things happening every day on board for the Moana Explorer program, things like bridge tours and stargazing and snorkeling. They do a fun survivor on the Motu Mahana. So there's a ton of activities happening. Children from 7 to 15 are included independently. If they're under 7, they still can participate in the activities. It's just that their parents would have to be with them. These are not offered on every voyage, and that is a good note for you. So when you're looking at selling a certain date for certain clients, it's a good idea to decide whether it's in the summer. Will there be a children's program, which again, you'll find more children on those sailings, or over the holiday period, again, you'll find more children on those sailings. Other times of the year, you know, when we don't have the children's program, you might not find any kids on board. So that's kind of you know, kind of knowing when to sell your clients as to what they're looking for. So we also offer airfare packages. So if you need help with us, from us doing the air for your clients, pre or post hotel stays, we do accept reservations for shore excursions about 60 days prior to sailing. We do have scuba on board. We actually have a dive master on board with us. And the dive master is facilitating the dives in all destinations. So kind of gets to know the likes and the abilities of the divers on board. And it also eliminates the, you know, you having to go, or the diver having to go from the ship to a dive shop to a dive boat. The actual dive boat leaves right from the back of the marina. So it's super simple, super easy. And then we have spa services. So these are some additional charges. So the things that are included is what we talked about before, but shore excursions, scuba diving, and spa services, and of course the boutique would be additional charges. Oh, and back to that marina dinner, that is an additional charge as well. So guests would have to pay for that if they choose to do it. So yeah, airfare packages. We do have a package that includes, and this is really good for like somebody who's just selling this for the first time, or clients who are not familiar with the destination. Our package includes the air from Los Angeles. It's Air Tahiti Nui is the carrier that we use, which is of course the flagship carrier of French Polynesia. And then it includes transfers, but it also includes the use of a private day room for your guest and lunch. So what happens is they take that overnight flight from Los Angeles, they get into Papeete, which is of course the main city in French Polynesia and where we leave from, takes them from the airport to the hotel. They enjoy the use of the hotel facilities, the day room, and then we pick them up and take them over to the pier. And that happens the same thing on the way back. So the night flight returning, and they'd have the use of the day room, lunch, and the facilities at the hotel. So all included in that airfare package, and reservations can certainly help you with that. And if there's deviations, guests are staying longer, going in ahead of time, you can do air with us still. It just would be a deviated kind of airfare. So let's get into sort of selling skills. So we like to call it our master class. We do them every year. So, you know, in the past few years, and people might not have been spending money on certain things, but always try to discover the why. Like, why are they taking this trip? You know, most people still, even when funds are a little bit tighter, they might put aside money for travel because it's important to their well-being. It's important to connect with other, you know, people in the world. It's important to kind of reset and relax or reconnect with loved ones. So, you know, you definitely want to understand the why as to why your clients are traveling on this trip. Enrichment is a big thing, and of course that goes along so nicely with what we do here at Paul Gauguin Cruises. And, the freedom to travel. We're starting to really, we've been free to travel for a little while, but people are still, maybe catching up on that travel because they didn't have the freedom to travel for a few years. So definitely discover the why. Let's talk about objections. You always get them when you're talking to your clients, as maybe objection to price or maybe objection to the destination. But to overcome those objections, you change it up, change up the dialogue when you're talking to your clients. What will this trip do for them? How will they benefit? Will it make them feel better about having to go back to work? Spending 10 days in French Polynesia, will it make them feel better about having to go back to work? Are they de-stressed? Make sure you ask your clients a lot of questions. Of course, it's so important to get to know your clients and building that relationship with them, and not just kind of, going from one client to the next and just offering the same thing all the time, getting to know their likes. This helps you plan out kind of where you think they should go. And it really goes along nicely with French Polynesia, because it might, it's kind of, if you ask a lot of questions, you can kind of have an idea of what you think they should do the next few years. Like you can plan out a 5-year wallet for your clients, and then market to them those things that you think they should be doing. So that's kind of helpful to get an idea. Our destination is not one that will, you mention the idea and that they'll say, yes, let's do that this year. It might plant the idea or the seed for them to do that in a few years. So, even if you ask the question about French Polynesia or introduce the idea and they object right now, it doesn't mean they're going to object forever. So also think about selling value over price. It's so important. It's such a difference. Value is what you're getting, not the amount you pay. You definitely want to demonstrate that it is worth the investment to put money towards traveling and seeing new places in the world and meeting new people. Of course, it takes a lot of patience to sell value over price. So again, once you talk about the value and what this vacation is going to do for them, it's not an issue how much it costs anymore. But there are some times when people come to you with some kind of a crazy budget, and no matter how much value you present, price is still going to be an obstacle. Like, they can't come and say, I want to spend $1,000 per person, but I want to go to French Polynesia. Well, that will get you there, but it's not going to get you much else. Another thing to think about is when you're selling value over price, especially in French Polynesia and with the Gauguin, is, everything's included. So the value of having everything right there at your fingertips, your food, your drinks, you're not having to worry about where you're going to eat. The ease of getting from place to place in French Polynesia on the ship is a great value for your clients. And also our more luxury type clients, they don't mind paying more to get that experience. And even if you're not a luxury type budget client, you definitely will. Most clients are willing to spend a little bit more to have ease, to have things taken care of for them. Not talking about price too soon, again, same thing. You might not want to introduce the idea, but you don't want to just blurt it out there. Hey, this is what the price is. Sell them the value. Tell them how they're going to feel when they're in the destination. Tell them what it's going to do for them. They're going to de-stress. They're going to see colors in the, that they've never seen, blues and greens that they've never seen anywhere else. They're going to see them in French Polynesia, and they're going to be relaxed, and they're going to meet a culture that is warm and friendly. So, that's selling the value over price proposition. Let's talk about, so if you're not sure how to tap into your current client base, you just might be a rookie. So we'll talk a little bit about our Paul Gauguin Cruiser demographic, and I do have a demo slide, but a few things that you want to think about when you're thinking about your own client database. And some mistakes I possibly made as a new travel advisor more than 20 years ago, probably closer to 30 now, which is kind of scary. But I would always think, just because a person traveled this way last year, they did the same junior suite on Royal Caribbean cruise, or they did a all-inclusive vacation somewhere, that's the same thing they're going to do every year. And that's certainly a mistake, because you always want to kind of upgrade your clients. Once they go from maybe an ocean view stateroom, like if you're starting off with them and they're a young traveler, they might have an ocean view stateroom. Once they get a taste of that balcony, they're never going to go back to that ocean view stateroom. So it's the same thing when they get it. I'll give you a perfect example. My husband, for example, we've cruised on many different cruise lines. And he always, when we first met and he started coming on trips with me, he really loved the big ships with all the bells and whistles, and he thought that was super fun. But once I took him on the Gauguin, he can't go back. We have a 5-year-old now, and we'll probably do some large ship cruising, but he is just doesn't know how he's going to react once he gets on a big ship. So he's the perfect example. The way you upgrade yourself through travel, you can't go back sometimes. And that's what you should be doing for your clients. You should be offering them the next kind of best thing or next better thing when you're looking at your own client database. The other thing that you might look at when you're looking through your own client list is people who have traveled to Hawaii. And so anybody who has been to Hawaii and maybe asks you to go back to Hawaii is certainly ripe for French Polynesia. Introduce the idea. Again, maybe it's not going to happen this year, but maybe in 2 years. Hey, remember, Andy, when you mentioned that French Polynesia trip to me, I said I wanted to go to Hawaii. We went back to Hawaii. Let's talk about going to French Polynesia again. So this kind of, you'll see here, there's not so much an age listed through our guest demographic, but more of kind of an experience. I mentioned this before, but we love celebrations. So anybody celebrating an anniversary, a honeymoon, even first-time honeymooners are great for us. They're definitely great for Paul Gauguin Cruises. Someone who's celebrating a milestone birthday, somebody who's celebrating a milestone birthday but wants to take their family along. That's a great customer to have. They might be celebrating, grandma and grandpa are celebrating a special birthday, take their children and grandchildren. Anybody who loves the outdoors and water, divers, tap into those divers in your database for sure. People traveling with us usually take more than 2 trips per year. They have a fairly high average income and education level. Or again, bucket list people. So if you have those people who are ticking off destinations, bucket list destinations in your database, that's certainly a great client for French Polynesia. So yeah, I jumped ahead here a little bit, but another thing that you want to do, if you're looking for new clients, so maybe you tapped out your whole database and you want to clients to introduce the idea of French Polynesia or Paul Gauguin Cruises or your services, join groups that are compatible with you. Are you a diver? Are there dive groups you can join? Are there yacht clubs you might join? Golf course clubs, things like that. Those kind of social groups. Get involved in the arts. Certainly that's great for this area of the world and great to mine clients. You have book clubs, things like that, any wellness retreats. Those are always great to target for new clients in the database. Again, build the relationships. And this definitely goes back to when I was selling travel on the front line is, I might book a honeymoon for a client. Then they'll come back and I book their Disney vacations. I didn't get to the point of booking children's honeymoons, but I definitely got to the point of booking some older teenage trips, but definitely. So, you know, build those relationships, keep that client for a long time. And you know, they become friends sometimes, right? This is a great quote, especially for me. You know, I would certainly rather have a passport full of stamps than stuff. And in fact, I don't, people ask me what to get my 5-year-old son for Christmas or his birthday or something like that. I always ask for experiences. I don't need any more toys. I don't want to clean them up. But I love to open his eyes to new destinations and new experiences. So we certainly always ask for those type of things for trips, for Christmas trips and things like that. You know, sell yourself. I think a lot of times we don't do this enough, is to talk to your clients about referrals. You know, make yourself the expert in what you want to sell. You know, you want to sell luxury travel, take the courses, take the supplier courses, reach out to your, you know, BDMs or your DOSs, and become an expert in those areas or those suppliers. And make sure everybody knows when you're in these groups, when you're, you know, having social interactions, make sure everybody knows what you do and that you're very passionate about traveling, because that, you know, people love talking about travel. People always want to talk about travel. They want to know what's the next best destination, what's the next hot thing, where's the next place to go. So make sure everybody knows what you do. So also we're going to talk today about some of the destinations that we travel to, and our itineraries. And we're going to go through some of them in a way that will tell you, you know, who they might be good for. So another little rookie joke here is, if you call, or it's not, shouldn't be call, if you think Tahiti is far away, you just might be a rookie. So Tahiti, or French Polynesia, is only 8 hours from Los Angeles. So if you have people, again, who travel to Hawaii year after year, that's 6 hours from Los Angeles. So if they tell you they think Tahiti is too far away, it's only 2 more hours from LA than Honolulu. But a few different tips for you. We're as far west as Hawaii. We're in the same time zone, so the same weather pattern. We're as far south of the equator as Hawaii is north of the equator. You know, you might get crazy ideas. People might say, oh my gosh, Tahiti is next to Australia, or it's across the international date line, and certainly is not the case. Another tip, though, is there's as many tourists visiting French Polynesia in 1 year as visit Hawaii in 1 week. So think about that for a second. That kind of frames it in your mind of what the experience is like when you're there. So even when you're in the island of Tahiti, which is where Papeete is, which is where we begin and end most of our sailings, and also the international airport is, 70% of the people live in Papeete. There's about 300,000 people living in all of French Polynesia. There's 118 islands, but 70% of those people live right there in Papeete. And you still don't feel crowded. You can still, on the island of Tahiti, go to waterfalls or gardens where there's literally no one else there. So, you know, it really is like taking a step back in time when you travel there. But also, if you think Tahiti is near Fiji, you might be a rookie. It's 2,000 miles away. So you might have people who say to you, I've been to Fiji, I don't need to go to Tahiti. Well, they're completely different and they're not next to each other. So if you would think about the US, think about New York to Houston. That's as far as Tahiti is from Fiji, and about as far in the way the experience, you know, what the experience is like in New York and what the experience is like in Houston. So we all know that it's completely two different cities, and the same thing with Tahiti and Fiji. Also, if you think you could drive between islands, you just might be a rookie. But there's a disclaimer here. You can actually take a car ferry from Tahiti to Moorea, so you kind of technically can drive. But if you're going to Bora Bora, for example, or some of the other islands, you must fly. So it's just 15 miles from Tahiti over to Moorea. And you see here that Tahiti actually looks like two little islands, Tahiti being the bigger piece, and then Tahiti Iti being that smaller piece. And Iti means little, in French Polynesian language. And also the Olympics, the surfing competition in 2024, I think it's around June or July, will be held in Tahiti Iti. There's huge waves there, so you know, big enough and far out that surfers take jet skis out to the big waves. So really pretty cool. So Tahiti Iti is the little piece there. So this really is our flagship. This is the core of everything we do. So this 7-night sailing, if we're adding longer destinations on, we still do this core 7-night and then add different islands. So again, I told you we begin and end Papeete. We go to Wahine, Taha'a, Bora Bora, and Moorea, which we're overnighting in Bora Bora and we're overnighting in Moorea. So this is a 7-night cruise with 2 destinations where we're spending 2 full days. So you have 5 islands in 7 days. So very port intensive. It's great for first timers. It's great for people who want to pair this with a land stay. So either before or after, people who have a limited amount of time. It is a leisurely pace, but you are visiting those 5 islands in 7 days. And it's for people who love water. And you'll find almost any of these sailings are going to be for romance seekers. This is something we're doing in 2024. We're returning to Raiatea. So we're not overnighting in Bora Bora, sorry, Moorea. We're not overnighting in Moorea, but spending a day in Raiatea. And this is not every sailing in 2024, so we'll juggle back and forth between that 7-night I just showed you and this 7-night itinerary in 2024. So this is great for first timers as well. This is 6 ports in 7 days. And Raiatea is the second most populous area behind Papeete. It also is very culturally important. There's a UNESCO site there, which is an ancient mare, which is a Polynesian kind of cultural and religious center that you can visit. So it's really a cool destination. So 6 nights and 6 ports in 7 days. If you think vanilla grows underground, because it kind of looks like vanilla beans are roots rather than you know, a tree, you might be a rookie. So these orchids in French Polynesia are all hand pollinated to create Tahitian vanilla, which is very sought after by chefs and, you know, cooks alike. So you'll find out all of this information from our resident Gauguins and Gauguins on board the ship. We have 7 Tahitian young people from all over French Polynesia that sail with us. They're entertainers and they tell you stories and they do handicrafts and they do language lessons. And so these are one of the stories they'll tell. They're the smiling face that you see when you're getting on and off the ship with a cold towel or a cold drink. So very important. We are culturally immersive, and that's one way we do it, is to have the Gauguins and Gauguins on board with us. Our 10-night sailing is going over to the Tuamotu Islands. So you can see here, we're still doing that 7-night kind of flagship, but adding that 2 destinations, Rangiroa and Whakarava, in there. This destination is great for divers or snorkelers. The shape of the islands is that circular kind of coral island with a sandbar on top. So in between there, you'll find like a virtual aquarium. It is, you know, sea life that you won't find anywhere else. It's just amazing for divers or snorkelers. Great for eco-travelers as well. And there is 1 sea day on this sailing. Give you just an example of some sea day activities that we do. It's definitely has more kind of lectures and activities on board. So there's a ton of stuff to do when we have sea days. And you'll find entertainment and any enrichment programs that we have are very Polynesian. Polynesian dance groups. We have a resident band on board, but you know, any lectures are marine biologists or anthropologists. So it's really interesting information about the area. So if you're afraid to pronounce the word Whakarava, you just might be a rookie. Or if you laugh at it, because it is kind of a fun name, right? So Whakarava is one of those destinations in the Tuamotus. And this is my next sailing Absolutely, hands down. I'm going to do this the next sailing I go on with us. We're actually overnighting in Fakarava. So any divers, anybody who loves the water, this is a great itinerary for them. This doesn't start until 2025. So if you have clients who this would be perfect for, it may be their 2025 trip. And it actually goes to Raiatea too. So this is perfect for me. I haven't been to Raiatea and I haven't been to the Tuamotus. So there's sea days here. It's 7 ports in 10 days, but a great itinerary for people who are looking for something different. And here we go. This is actually the last sailing that I took, was in December of last year, the Cook and Society Islands. And so the Cook Islands, of course, are not part of French Polynesia. Everything that we talked to up until now has been. But the Cook Islands are self-governed, very closely aligned with New Zealand. The 2 destinations we stop at there are Aitutaki and Rarotonga. And then you'll find that the Cook Islanders call Rarotonga the city. I can assure you it's nothing like any city that I've ever seen, but it is the most populous area. I think there's 14 islands spread out through the Cook Islands. And I think it was more like 80% of all the people lived in Rarotonga. Aitutaki is an amazing destination with a huge sandbar. So if you go out on a snorkel boat, you could literally walk from the snorkel boat on a sandbar to an island. It's really cool. Great colors and different blues and greens. So there's 2 sea days on this itinerary. You have the 2 different kind of feelings and culture. Great for people who like the beach and just want to experience something a little bit different. So we're going to talk about the Marquesas Islands. So the Marquesas are really, this is a 14-night itinerary. Marquesas are very different from the rest of the islands that we talked about so far. They're very rugged. There are more wild horses in the Marquesas than there are people. It's a lot about the culture, the interior there. You can see these big mountains that go right into the sea. You have black sand beaches there. Again, Paul Gauguin, our namesake, is buried in the Marquesas Islands. Tattoos were created in the Marquesas Islands. So this is a little bit different. Couple sea days, 3 sea days on this. People who are looking for something a little bit different, people who have traveled with us before, this is great for, and people who want more than just a beach vacation. People who are looking for that cultural piece would be great. The Marquesas Islands are the farthest island chain from any land mass in the world. So they're very remote, and we make it super easy to get there, the cruise. And again, this is great. Again, Marquesas Islands and the Tuamotus. This is something we're doing in 2024 only, actually. And it's great for past guests because it has 2 new calls in the Marquesas Islands. People who have been to Moorea before because they're not doing Moorea, or if they're going to do a pre and post, it has 3 nights at sea. And this is sailing in 2024 only. We do Fiji once per year. So this is a one-way cruise from Fiji, Papeete or Tahiti out to Fiji and then back again. 3 sea days here. Here's when it operates. Good for past guests, people who are adventurers, people who want to get to these remote places easily. And then in 2025, you can see here we're doing a couple different itineraries with new calls. So this is an April 1st, 2025, 4 sea days and overnights in Singapore, Bali, and Australia. I think this is the one that Komodo. So of course this goes to the, Komodo Island, which is where you can see the Komodo dragon. And then we have our 16-night Australia to Fiji sailing. So again, begins in Australia, heads over to Fiji. This is great for military buffs. A lot of the Americans were stationed in these different little islands across the Pacific, and you can visit some of those sites. It's 8 sea days, so tons of enrichment happening here, people who like to dive, and this is happening April 15th. And then we have our long sailing, a crossing from Fiji to Bali here. This is in January. It's 11 sea days. This is for people who are looking to disconnect. Again, we're going to have a ton of guest speakers on this, and you have those military and history buffs it's great for that. So where can you get support? So now I gave you some tips, but we also need to kind of keep the conversation going. So a couple of things that are really important for you to know is our logistics of booking. So our deposit is 25%, and that's required within 72 hours of booking. Final payment is due about 90 days before clients travel. We do have triple occupancy fares, 30% for those guests over 18 who are sailing in a stateroom with 2 other people. Again, we don't have any quads. We do have real documents, and they come in this beautiful little pouch to your clients. You can have them sent right to your clients or sent to you, and you can give them to your clients. You do have to request those, otherwise they would be e-docs. Our reservation department is open 5 days a week. There's the telephone number, and we have an online booking engine and a travel agent portal coming very, very soon. So keep an eye out for that. We are a dynamic pricing model. So, what that means for you and your guest is the earlier you book, the better price you're going to get. What happens is when the itineraries come out, they're out at a 30% off brochure price. As the ship fills, the discounts go down in about 5% increments. So when the ship is starting to fill, you might get a 25% discount, then down to a 20% discount until it becomes brochure pricing. So, book early, get your clients to book early to get those best prices in the market. We are available through the end of 2025. That just came out in the summertime, so those are all pretty close to 30% savings at the moment. Also, if we ever put other offers in the market, this dynamic pricing model is applicable with that. So you get the dynamic discount plus whatever special might be in the market, if it's an air special or something like that. Also, past guests can get up to 12.5% off. That's also guests who traveled with our sister brand Ponant gets the Paul Gauguin discount as well. It starts at 5% and then moves up to the 12.5%. We do have a lovely welcome offer for any guests who have never traveled with us before. They're eligible for $300 off per person. And this is for first-time Paul Gauguin Cruisers, and it is valid with any other discount in the market. And it's only valid on FIT bookings, not with groups. And it's called the welcome offer. So take a look at that, and it can be booked anytime for travel anytime. So nothing never expires. We have a promotion out in the market at the moment. It just started on September 25th. It's an additional 10% savings on certain sailings, and it actually extends through 2025. So I think there's 32 sailings, and you can find them on our website or certainly reach out to your DOS and they can give you a list of those sailings. And in addition to your client savings, we do have an advisor incentive. So if you make a booking with one of those anniversary promo sailings, you get a $250 e-gift card. That's for double occupancy. And then the single occupancy will get $125. Make sure you send the booking number and the name of the guest to your director of sales within 7 days of booking, and they'll get you on the list for that. And that extends through October 1st. So you have a pretty big booking window there. I didn't talk about this when we were talking about guest demographics, and I should have, but the Gauguin is a fabulous option for single travelers. We said that French Polynesia is not just for romance. We told you that it's for families, but what I failed to mention, it's also for solo travelers. It's a great way, they're going to meet other people. We have a piano bar on board. There's a ton of entertainment options. So, guests get to kind of mix and mingle. They can be seated with other people at dinner if they want to. So it's a really great way for singles to see French Polynesia and not feel weird about being in a romantic destination by themselves. And we have these great savings. So if you go to our website and look at promotions, you'll find there are certain dates and sailings that there's no single supplement. And this CS category that's mentioned here, you won't really find it anywhere, but there are 2 staterooms on the ship that are CS categories. They're really good for singles because they're a little bit smaller, but they're balconies and they're in the back of the ship. So, look for those single savings. That's another great way or place to mine for clients, or to look for clients like single kind of groups, single traveler groups. I hear a lot of advisors talking about getting kind of single traveler groups together. Either, their significant other doesn't want to travel or doesn't want to go to this destination. It's a great way for people to get together. Then groups. Your director of sales can help you with marketing your groups. They have co-op marketing funds they can help you use to promote the group. We have a great groups program. We set up a contract with an additional 5% savings on most sailings. The rates are locked in. You get a TC credit for 9 guests, so the 10th person sails free. And the past guest savings are combinable. If you haven't completed our Pearls program, you just might be a rookie. So take a look at that. We can get a link out to everyone at the end for our Pearls program. And it's a great way to stay in the know. We let our Pearls program, advisors know about discounts and savings and promotions before we send it out to the general public. Also, you get a $100 gift card for the first 3 bookings that you make with us after you complete the program. Again, special incentives are sent to you early. Here's a list of all the directors of sales in the US and in Canada. We actually have Vicky, covers all of Canada. You can see Liz Coleman, who's our Vice President of Sales. You have Lisa Gordine, who does the Southwest, Southern California, and Hawaii. Scott Harner is Southeast, and Barbara Davis is up in the Northwest. So reach out to me if you need any of these emails or telephone numbers. I'm happy to get those out to you. And with that, I'd like to say Maruru. And you can see here my son Declan. He was with the Gauguins and the Gauguins in Motu Mahana, and it was actually Christmas Day. So they have their Christmas hats on, and it was an amazing experience. And it's one of my favorite places in the whole world. And hopefully you'll be able to send your clients there too. So with that, Andy, that's it for me.
Gosh, that was awesome. And I'm going to say I was literally text messaging my wife while you're doing this saying, hey, go look at this website. Wonderful ship and awesome itineraries. I mean, just so much great information. And all of our participants today really enjoyed it. So many good compliments, a lot of really positive feedback for, I guess, an event that happened in Texas. Said that it was just a wonderful event. A few people were at that. Yeah, which is great. Lots of questions and so many. I'm not going to be able to go over all of them, but can I touch on a few of them before we do this giveaway?
Yeah, absolutely.
A couple questions about the rainy season. Is there a raining season?
Great question. Yes, there is. Now, it is a year-round destination. It's 80 degrees year-round there with an 80-degree water temperature. So it's really great year-round. But if you want to make sure that your clients are going to stay outside that rainy time, November through April is the rainy season. And I don't want to kind of give you an idea that it's going to be a washout, because it's not usually what happens. It's usually kind of those passing showers. If people are familiar with the Caribbean, kind of passes through and then it's done. But yes, November through April, rainy season.
Very similar to the Hawaiian weather patterns, it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely.
One question on air: can U.S. origin flights be added to the international flight? So if someone needed to get from Florida to LAX, can your team help with that?
Yes, they can assist.
Fantastic. A question about the deposit. If a cancellation occurs after the deposit's made, what is your guys' cancellation fees or policy? I should say.
Yeah, we have a $250 admin fee if they have to cancel between the time they put the deposit down and final payment. That admin fee, though, can be transferred to a new booking one time. So if clients, that wasn't what they wanted to do and they want to change it, we can certainly change it, move that fee for them. I do want to strongly recommend insurance. I know in the days after COVID, every supplier, it was kind of lenient and moving and changing, but we're back to regular cancellation policies, and make sure your clients get insurance, because there are a few exceptions made. I don't think just for us, but I think that's across the supplier
I think COVID made travel insurance a must for most.
Yeah.
Do you guys offer any wine tasting opportunities?
Sometimes we have like like our guest speakers or our host on board, and it might be a winery where they might do a wine tasting.
Okay.
But as a general kind of thing, we don't usually have that as we don't usually have like a tasting per se, but every night they pour different wines. So that could kind of be considered a tasting, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's always something new to try, it sounds like. Um,
Yep.
can you, we had one question just about the 50% solo sailing. Can you elaborate
Yeah.
a little bit more on that?
Yeah, sure. So, a lot of times if you're looking at cruises, singles pay 200%. So they're paying the same as a double. And we have categories E, F, and CS are mostly 150%. And then we have certain dates where it's only 100%. So they're really only paying the double price and getting a single stateroom. So all of those special kind of dates can be found on our website where it says under promotions and solo savings offer, I think it's called.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Just wonderful information. I mean, you're going to get shortly after this, I'll send you the report with all of the questions and comments that we received. But just really great feedback from everyone here. And thank you all for typing all those in and really paying attention. We are giving away that wonderful Tahitian pendant. Shannon, you want to go ahead and
Yes.
ask that question?
Yeah,
Oh,
Andy, I
before
wonder
you,
if anyone knows or listened to how far is it from Los Angeles to Papeete when you're flying?
I will select the 10th correct answer.
I'll be disappointed if someone says like 24 hours.
I got one here. No, we've got it. We've got it. And
All
Mark
right.
Douglas,
All right, Mark, you
congratulations.
listen.
I'll be honest with you, and you're going to see this in the report. Everyone listened. I mean, there was a couple little off ones here, but man, overwhelmingly, you had a very attentive group today.
Wonderful.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. So, Mark, Shannon will reach out to you in regards to that winning. Congratulations, and thank you so much, Shannon. This was just an absolute pleasure to be a part of, and such great information.
Thanks, Andy. And I appreciate it. This is my pleasure, and I love introducing my favorite destination to the advisor community.
Your passion definitely comes across. I appreciate it. I'll be in touch with you shortly, and thank you all for joining us today. This will be live on our YouTube momentarily, as well as on travelprofessionalnews.com in our video library. Thank you all, and look forward to the next one. Thank you, Shannon.
Take care.